You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Did you know that your heart attack risk can more than double when your home team is playing? We're encouraging all sports fans to learn about their personal heart risk factors so they can keep their hearts in the game. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the U.S. due to often invisible risk factors. To help educate you on those risks, Bayer Aspirin created the Bayer Aspirin Heart Health Risk Assessment Tool. The tool quickly assesses an individual's personal risk of developing cardiovascular disease so they can discuss their heart health risk factors with a healthcare professional as part of an ongoing health management. Learn more and assess your risk factors at checkyourheartrisks.com.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Chris Cote is saying he already misses Radio Row. Already misses it. What is happening with you?
I miss it. I just miss the whole buzz about it. I feel like I didn't get to go enough because as these guys were there Wednesday and Thursday, that's like the peak of it, and I kind of miss those days. But I also feel like the bigger problem here is, Dan, you have it all wrong. You're thinking of Radio Row back in the day when we were like, local, not that respected, just one of the... Now you're a top dog now.
It's different now.
You get respect now. And I know Stugotz was kind of complaining about these parts of it. Even though I don't believe him, he misses being just one of the shows. But I just feel like nowadays, if you went there for the entire week like Stugotz, you get left alone for the like you're in your bubble and people the people that you want get brought to you. I just don't think it's as sad as you remember it being all those years ago.
I said this to Dan a year ago, that the way we're received at Radio Row is unlike any other time in our show's history. We're received differently. You need to experience it.
It's true, but also stay away from it. Don't go to Radio Row. Don't go there, please. I was sad that we didn't go Friday. I was sad that we didn't go Thursday. Because the thing is that like the primetime days have shifted a little bit, and I was considering going on Friday, but Stu's flight was like at 4, so it's like, I'm not going to go and just waste time if no one's going to talk to us. But yeah, it's definitely dope AF now, as the kids say, Dan.
Our choice, the place that we chose, and God, I can't thank Circa enough for saying yes to every single thing that we needed. But my logic in choosing what it is that I chose, I had reinforced when I met the people who came out to see us. And so many of them were genuinely moved by the symbolism of us choosing something far away from Radio Row to specifically be downtown. Because I don't know if you guys know the history of that entire part of the country, but I don't think there's a fourth city in what I'm about to say. I think there are 3 cities known for being less repressed than others when it comes to just general debauchery and sin. I think it is Las Vegas, I think it is Miami, and I think it is New Orleans.
3 and only 3, huh?
I don't think there's a fourth there. I mean, you could go New York and L.A., but I think in terms of gold, silver, and bronze medalist of let it fly, there are fewer consequences here than anywhere else. And nowhere in our union, is there a place more okay with legalized sin than that entire region? And then downtown is a little extra dirty. But you guys are telling me that you're telling me that you'd rather be on Radio Row than the setup that we had?
I wouldn't say rather. I loved being at the Circa. I loved the live shows. I just think the way you think of Radio Row is just not the experience you would have.
You would still hate it. To be perfectly honest, you would still hate it.
I'm with Billy on that.
No, you did go to do an interview, and I remember like talking to everyone involved with the logistics. I'm like, you got to get him out though. Like, you bring him in, hide him in the bushes that we had there so no one can see him, because like he's gonna get swarmed if he walks out like into the general public, and he's not gonna like that. Like, get him in and out because it's not gonna be in it. Like, I like it. Stugotz likes it. Chris likes it. You would not have liked it.
Sounds like Billy and Stu like having Radio Row to themselves. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh,
right
definitely.
Yeah.
Dan, you also missed out on the
Dan there.
Dan, the Conch Republic would like a word. The Conch Republic stands strong in those, hey, anything flies, let it ride.
Fair enough.
I did think, Dan, and I didn't volunteer this because it was going to be a lot of extra work for me, and we had like a tight deadline that day. But I did, posit this to some people and say, you know what? Dan, if he went around and he did hits on like little like stations or smaller like podcasts or whatever, I think he'd have fun if he did it with one of us. Like if we were going around and doing it with him and it was just like him and someone else doing it. I thought it'd be a good time for you. But also it's quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, you were delighted, as happy as I saw you, and I saw you happy plenty of times over the course of the week. So I didn't see you karaoke singing with Fuentes, so maybe you were happier then.
I was uncomfortable. I prefer if that video doesn't see the light of day because I wasn't fully into
brought
it.
it up.
I'm being told that we don't have video, but we have
I
a
wasn't
shot.
dancing. Yeah, I didn't dance. I was a little, rigid because it was a long day and I didn't know we were going to get into it. I also didn't know there was a camera, so I didn't know we were putting on a performance. I thought it was just the two of us and Juju. But it seems as though it's been found.
Many years ago, we showed up at some place that had a few hundred people at it, and as I got there, because he knows I can be uncomfortable with just the streaming insanity that can happen when people notice that crappy celebrity has arrived. Billy Gil, many years ago, just shouted as I walked in, sort of shuffling and looking at my feet, "Hey, there's Dan Le Batard!"
Yeah, it was at Jay Wakefield.
And he did that again, and this was as delighted as I saw him the entire week. As soon as I walked into Radio Row, what do you mean falsehoods?
Falsehoods.
You did it again.
No, falsehoods. I did that back in the day out loud for everybody to hear it. And then you got me back at a Moss event where you did it to me, and then the thing happened to me. And then at Radio Row, I playfully said it when it was just like the DK people around. I go, no, I wasn't loud. I just go, hey, it's Dan Le Batard. And I pointed at him, just kind of joking around with, if I did this, it would be really bad.
Just
and
between the two of you.
Exactly. I knew I would. It was a little IJ, an inside joke, as the kids say. You know what I mean? Dope AF. LOL. Raffle.
I saw that the audio, the audio is not good on the karaoke, unfortunately.
What a shame.
It looks like you're having a great time. This is you ebullient. This is what Greg Cote had on his face when he was the.
He is. Billy's so happy.
This is the
right
Hee-Haw
here.
3.
Well, this is the end.
We would have put them out of business.
No doubt. This is the end because we were done with Radio Row on Thursday, and this is Billy just letting it out.
Oh, yeah, I let it loose. I got a free T-shirt.
He was happy. We were done. Yeah.
What were the highlights from the halftime show for you guys? I saw a lot of people were complaining or were saying that Jermaine Dupri looked like
odd choice with the shorts.
But a lot of people thought it was CeeLo Green, right? A lot of people didn't think it was.
I didn't know anyone.
My one Jermaine Dupri story, I've only got one, but it's a great one.
Why would you have two?
I have, but I've got a good one.
You have one.
I don't need a second one. The one I've got is really good. It's the Miami Super Bowl. It's and this was happening everywhere in Vegas. It's 2:00 in the morning in one of these clubs. You turn around a corner, and I see there is Jermaine Dupri, and he is on Shaq's shoulder.
Super Bowl week.
Like perched like a parrot?
Like a parrot, yes. Like a parrot. He is just sitting on.
Me and who?
He's just sitting on Shaq's shoulder. What were the highlights from the halftime show?
When it was over.
I was asleep.
Oh, no.
Roy.
Sleeping?
You slept through the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I fell asleep at halftime. And then I woke up for the third quarter.
First half was bad.
Kind of proud of you.
Look, Usher,
tired.
Great. He's an amazing artist. He's an incredible performer. Not his best work.
I thought the choreography was really good, but I couldn't really hear it. So I can't be the judge of how it sounded. But I love the dancing. I love the roller skates. I want to get roller skates. I'll probably eat shit like Billy.
My guess is roller skates had a spike in sales today, right? Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Did roller skates spike in sales today? Because everything that happens during the Super Bowl makes a spike in sales.
A bit breathy, too, at the end.
Man, you are a critic.
Really?
That seems
I'm
like
just call it like
it seems like a hard
He was
situation.
dancing his ass off. So.
I feel
Was
like
that Romo?
people already decided before that whether they liked it or not. Like I heard Tony last week give this take about the Super Bowl thing. Like it was just like people were already decided. I had one friend I was watching with. We had buffering issues. Like I was watching it and it was just like that thing where you see
Spinning wheel of death.
I need to rewatch it because I didn't get the full experience. One of my friends was just like top 2 Super Bowl performance ever. I'm like, dude, we missed a third of it because of buffering. You must have just already had that opinion. Like there's no way. I'm not criticizing it. I don't think it was a top 5. I love Usher. The bangers, at the end, crushed. Can't it just be good? Like why do we have to do this thing where it's shitty? It's top 5. It was good.
Top 2 Super Bowl. Really?
That's what my friend said while watching
You
it through
were
buffering.
asleep. You're not allowed to have any kind of opinion
Yes, I
whatsoever.
can. Yes, I can. You know why? Michael Jackson and Prince.
Yeah.
He should not have that opinion. Top 2 of all time.
Proud of you, Roy.
How do you know it wasn't better than Michael
didn't see
Jackson
it.
and Prince?
You were I don't have to be awake for that to know
you
that.
proved this point
Yeah,
that
that's
whatever
exactly
your
what he just
opinion
said.
was your opinion whether you saw the show or not.
Wow.
You just proved it.
Thank you. There you go.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
You were asleep.
Boy, Roy.
You cannot have a strong opinion about what the show was
you
when
can.
you were asleep for it.
I wasn't asleep because of the show. I was asleep because of Las Vegas. That's why. I was tired.
Because of this
in
show.
Toronto as well.
Okay, I don't need your resume on travel. You have an opinion.
Sleep bona fides.
Like 3 weeks ago, too.
Dan, in fairness to Roy, did he need to see the halftime show to know that it wasn't better than Prince or Michael Jackson? I mean, come on.
Yes.
No.
I'm with Chris. You have to at least watch
No.
it. Give it a chance.
Watching is overrated.
I'm not trying to disprove Chris. I'm trying to disprove the guy,
My
the
friend,
party,
yeah.
that guy, his friend.
Through buffering was like top 2. I mean, to Roy's point, it was a ridiculous take by my friend.
I thought it was good. I'm with Chris.
Same.
Let's leave it at that. It was fine. Good job, Usher.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Can you have an opinion on what you just saw when you were asleep?
Absolutely.
Isn't that like 90% of sports media takes?
Come on.
A strong opinion with a lot of conviction
Michael Jackson and Prince, Dan.
about what you just saw when your eyes were closed and you did not see it. I think that's the one instance in which I could say with absolute conviction, your opinion is disqualified. You don't have to have an opinion about this.
Roy, what did you think of Brock Purdy?
He was fine.
You were sleeping.
I was awake for the game. He was fine.
Wait,
a halftime
You
nap?
just took a nap for
I
halftime?
took a nap for halftime.
Yeah, he
That
told
is
us
just
that.
total bullshit. I'm sorry.
It's a long
Why are
halftime.
we encouraging this lie?
It's a long halftime.
Yeah, but he
is
did
like-
not take a nap just for halftime and
I
wake up to
did.
see the rest.
I put 20 minutes on my timer. And
So you had no, like, that is so odd. I would
That
have
is
thought
elite napping.
I would have watched the halftime
not
and then
true.
slept like the first 10 or 15 minutes of the third quarter. Like, I feel like halftime show, you got to check it out.
No, I rather
All right.
watch football.
I could have slept through the first half if we're being honest. You don't really miss much if you slept through that.
Yeah, that is true.
Couple fumbles, who cares?
The thing about the first half, the only thing that will be remembered is Kelsey almost knocking Andy Reid over. Correct? There's nothing else from the first half that ends up mattering in
No,
the game.
falsehoods. We had 2 record-setting field goals.
Oh, that's true.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought to myself, 55's not that far. I can't believe it's the record.
Is Andy Reid old enough that we can call this elder abuse?
Yes.
Yes.
He had to fall.
You're right.
He had to fall. It's like a charge. You can't take a charge and not fall. You got to fall with the charge.
Stugotz here. When you love someone, you protect them in the best ways you can. That's why I recommend Simply Safe Home Security. It's an advanced system that protects every inch of your home and backed by 24/7 with professional monitoring for fast emergency response for less than $1 a day. Guys, I have had Simply Safe in my home for many, many years now. I swear by them. The peace of mind it gives me when I am away. The fact that I can see everything happening in and around my house is amazing. Simply Safe offers everything you need for whole home protection. HD cameras for indoors and outdoors. The system is easy to set up yourself without any special tools or know-how required. Don't want to do it yourself? Not a problem. You can get one of their expert technicians to come out to your house and install it for you. Right now, you can get 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for the Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Don Le Batard.
God doesn't even know what this list is.
He was ahead of Tom Brady, who also won a playoff game.
A couple, yeah.
That was literally the most confusing list we've ever done.
Tebow's got a better shot of coming back.
Give him a chance. He's got more living.
I'm mad.
I'm angry.
I
want to leave.
Stugotz.
This would have been your day. This should be. You should own the sports media landscape right now.
I am. Top 7 guys. I would not want the Jets.
No. You. No. No, I'm not allowing it.
Give him a chance,
Wilson,
guys.
number 1.
No, I'm not giving him a chance. I'm giving him 20 years.
It's Carson Wentz.
I've given him my prime.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz does have a singular distinction here. I don't believe that I can say anywhere else with the conviction I'm about to say that Stugotz is the very best at one certain thing in sports, and that is being most wrong about the Kansas City Chiefs for the longest period of time. Yeah. So Andy Reid has been hearing the questions and the doubt about how good a coach he is for many, many years because of clock management, because he only got to the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens but didn't win the Super Bowl, because a lot of people thought that when he went to Kansas City, he'd already had it as good as it would ever get for Andy Reid. And so immediately upon making his biggest decision to go from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes, Stugotz was there questioning Andy Reid.
Go ahead, Andy Reid. I dare you to go 14-2 and allow Alex Smith to leave Arrowhead Stadium to leave Kansas City. Go ahead, I dare you. Because of Patrick Mahomes. Because you think you could turn Patrick Mahomes into something that Alex Smith is not. Alex Smith is a very good quarterback. The audacity, first off, to do this to Alex Smith, who's been very good and loyal to Andy Reid and won him a lot of football games, to dangle Patrick Mahomes out there because Andy Reid thinks he's some sort of quarterback whisperer, which he is not, by the way. He is not, because if he was, Alex Smith would be better than he's been the last few years. So I dare.
That's a record for contradiction.
It's on Andy Reid.
That is the
only reason Alex Smith is not better is Andy Reid.
That sets a world record for Stugotz not paying attention to any of the things he said the sentence before.
We have a number of worst takes around here.
Yeah.
I am the owner of most of them. I thought the 0-16 Lions would go to the playoffs. I had Tom Brady's career ending about 8 years earlier than it did. But that might not even be Stugotz's worst Kansas City take, because he's got one that is memorable and also comes with video from, 6 weeks ago.
Dan, this time of year, everyone talks about teams they don't want to see come playoff time. I want to talk about a team that I actually want to see come playoff time. I want to see the Chiefs. I want Patrick Mahomes strolling into my stadium with max confidence. I want Travis Kelce. I want Taylor Swift. I want the team that lost to Jordan Love. I want the team that lost to Aiden O'Connell. I want the team that trailed 17-0 to Jake Browning. That is the team that I would like to face in the playoffs. That's the team, indeed, that I would want to face in the playoffs, because that team is not very good. I have been saying for years there is something off in Kansas City. Last year, that take didn't go so well for me. They won the Super Bowl. This year, it's going very, very well. They are 10-6. They're down. The offense is not what it used to be. The defense doesn't travel well. They're good at home, not great on the road. If I'm a playoff team, I don't want Flacco. I don't want Mike Tomlin. I don't want any of those teams. The teams that I want strolling into my stadium,
When does it stop?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Shocking.
You're wrong.
Felt good at the time, I got to be honest.
It was a great take
Thank
at the
you.
time. 6 weeks ago, they had just lost to the Packers, to the Bills. They beat the Patriots by 10, lost to the Raiders.
Thank you, Tony.
It's not a good take. Period.
Arm with hindsight.
But we knew when you gave the take who the Chiefs quarterback was and that they had a good defense.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up mattering that all the receivers stink.
At all.
You had the Chiefs going into Baltimore and doing that?
I did. I picked the Chiefs in that game.
Damn you.
Jessica, I'm not sure what's the worst part of that take. Him saying just at the end, it kept getting worse and worse, but that he fears Tomlin more. That he fears Flacco more.
Yeah, it was tough.
At the time, it felt safe.
Yeah, it did.
It did feel like it
really
wasn't
did.
crazy. It felt
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Again,
So good take.
If he had mentioned Flacco and Tomlin 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Comeback play of the year.
But in the last 6 weeks, I'm not going to sit here and have you argue that that's not a bad take. It's a bad take now. It's a bad take 6 weeks ago. It's a bad take because the Kansas City Chiefs just won the Super Bowl.
But that's Super Bowl Monday morning quarterback.
Exactly. That's what makes it a bad take.
Right.
Then.
Yep.
They won the Super Bowl by going on the road and beating the MVP at quarterback, by going into Buffalo and beating the only other quarterback who got an MVP vote, and by taking out an offense that made us all go to the Super Bowl prematurely, make plans to go to the Super Bowl because we thought the Dolphins' offense might be partaking in that game.
No, we did not think that. We had a production meeting for the Super Bowl like 3 months ago, and everyone was like, "What's our contingency plan if the Dolphins are in it?" And I said I would go streaking down Biscayne
Whoa.
if the Dolphins were in the Super Bowl. And guess what? That was the safest
You're
take
safe.
I've ever had.
Yeah.
I like that we throughout the entire playoffs, mine is probably the Dolphins game, we could say, did Kansas City win or did the other team lose? And including the Super Bowl, we're still playing, did Kansas City win or did the 49ers blow it yet again with a lead?
I want to talk about what the assessment now gets to be of Brock Purdy, but let's just, since we heard the most wrong of the takes, let's hear from Mina Kimes here many weeks ago telling us that she would not go down the path that Stugotz went down, where he was just questioning at every turn what it is the Chiefs were. I'll try not to be distracted by the video here that's for some reason we kept going very close up on the faces. Just listen to the content. This was weeks ago from Mina Kimes.
I think the Kansas City Chiefs will still play in the AFC Championship. I know that. How? Oh, it's good, right? I look so bad in this video. I can't believe I'm letting
it
you
looks
guys
good.
do this.
Explain with 20 seconds left.
I think outside of the Baltimore Ravens, when you look around the division, I think, or the conference rather, I think all of the AFC teams are pretty flawed. Talked about Miami's defense. We'll see what happens with Buffalo. The Jags are a mess, but they'll probably win. The Browns are scary, but I think that they'll get knocked out by the Ravens, depending on how that thing shakes out. So when you look around and you're like, okay, well, one team has Patrick Mahomes. I know that the quarterback or the offense has been a mess, but the defense still looks pretty damn good.
We can celebrate the Kansas City defense, Stugotz, because I don't believe that they allowed much of anything in the second half in the playoffs, like anything.
They gave up 10 points to Lamar at home.
But in the second half of all of these games, winning time, that defense gave up nothing. But what Patrick Mahomes got this year that was the staple of what made Brady, Stugotz, beyond just winning, like obviously winning by itself,
right,
is something that is enduring and echoing. But winning when we don't understand how you're winning, winning when we question everything that's in your huddle, and you're still winning the game. The stratosphere that Mahomes has now entered, Stugotz, and maybe he was here before this game. You tell me, right? Because Brock Purdy will still have to do it at the end of memorable games for us to believe that Brock Purdy is as good as some people think he is.
Sure.
But I think what Mahomes now solidified, maybe he did it in 13 seconds against Buffalo, but now he's in the place. Don't leave him time and the football. At the end of the game, you're going to lose.
Any amount of time.
Okay, but that's not something we're doing with very many of them, Stugotz.
No.
Ever. Never mind in today's game. When you have America watching the television and America's saying, I don't trust any of the guys in that huddle with him. The wide receivers don't even need to have hands. I don't trust anybody but Kelsey with him. And all of America is watching its television as Purdy fails on 3rd and short from the goal line and everyone's going, you just left him the game. You can't leave that guy the game when he's got 4 downs to get down to get the first down. And he's the leading rusher.
Right.
And he's going to do it all by himself. I know he had some of this, but he's golden now. Like, I know he had plenty of people fearing you don't leave him time at the end of the game, but he's golden forever now. You don't give him the football at the end.
He has checked off just about everything you need to check off on the checklist. He's done it on the road. He's done it in the Super Bowl. He's won MVPs. He's trailed by 7 or more points. He's done everything except beat Tom Brady.
It felt like what Dan used to say with the big three. There's nothing better in sports than seeing them down late.
Right.
I want him down with the ball.
It's great.
Needing to score.
He's
the best.
great. Yeah. By the way, team scored in the second half in 3 of the 4 playoff games against the Chiefs defense.
How many points?
Not a lot, but they
what's
scored in the second half.
What is the total number of points allowed by the Chiefs in all of the playoff games in the second half and overtime, counting what was yesterday's what?
They gave up 12 yesterday, 3 to the Ravens, and I'll have to look at the other games.
Okay, but is it even 20 points that they've given up?
I know Buffalo scored at least a touchdown in that second half. The defense is great. They're overwhelming, and they are great.
Bruce Feldman sent out a tweet. They obviously played the Dolphins, they played the Bills, they played the Ravens, and the 49ers. Kansas City only allowed 4 plays of 25 yards or more the entire postseason.
Jeez.
Well, that game yesterday, I know that because it went into overtime and because of the second half, we will remember it forever as a great game. But there was one giant chunk yardage play in that game, and only one. It was Hardman. And everything else, like you got 20 yards. Here's what was interesting about that game, Stugotz, in terms of offensively. I think both teams averaged near 7 yards per play. But it was only 7 yards on every goddamn play. Because it wasn't, they had like 4 or 5 20-yard plays in the game and everything else. In fact, the way that Mahomes was doing it is an unusual way for him to do it, although he's had to do it that way since Tyreek Hill left. It was always 6 and 7 yards at a time. It was all dump downs. You weren't going to get a turnover off of him late in that game. It was all 4 and 5 yards to everybody because they'd take away everything that was deep and dare Mahomes to go down the field 7 yards at a time, and he did.
You had Hardman with the 52-yard catch. You had Justin Watson. He had a 25-yard catch, and Kelsey had a 22-yard catch. But Mahomes has been doing it differently this year than he has been in years past all year long.
Yeah, yes.
It's been screen passes.
Since Tyreek Hill left, and even at the end with Tyreek Hill, they were taking away some of the 70-yard stuff in order to make him play this way.
And I thought him being able to use his feet to get first downs when it looked like their offense was completely stalling in the second half made such a big difference too, and was probably the reason that they were able to score.
It was the difference between the quarterbacks. It was the difference between the quarterbacks in the game. One of them was also the leading rusher.
Also, that turnover on the punt. I mean, that changed the game around, right? They scored a touchdown, the Chiefs did. The offense got some momentum.
The first touchdown, yeah.
That 4th down call was so ballsy, too, because if that DN stays with Mahomes, it's over.
I mean, San Francisco had a pretty ballsy 4th down call as well.
Really?
Starting is everything when it comes to fitness. Peloton helps you start no matter what level you're at. Wherever you're starting, there's thousands of classes to get you moving. Whether that's beginners or advanced rides, feel-good live DJ rides, or artist-themed rides, they've got something for you. Peloton bike instructors keep you motivated from day one. They'll show you the basics, help take the guesswork out of your workout, and encourage you to build from there. And now with Peloton Entertainment, you can keep moving and watch your favorite TV shows and live sports as you ride. Perfect for those days when you don't want to miss a thing. And if you don't have a bike, take a dance class, take a core class, take Pilates, take a stretching class, start a program with Andy, do a core program with Emma. You can do it all at Peloton. You can get a Peloton row, and you're not even going to get wet because it's inside your own house without water. How'd they do it? I don't know. Wherever you're starting, get moving with a Peloton bike or Bike Plus rental at onepeloton.com/bike rentals. Terms apply.
Don Le Batard.
Common thread was Stugotz chumming it up with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. I met my quarterback.
Yeah, as you know. Stugotz didn't talk to Aaron Rodgers.
Nope.
Stugotz thought country music superstar Jake Owen was Aaron Rodgers. They had a 20-minute conversation.
Identical twins. I mean, Jesus.
Stugotz.
Listen, I will never have the relationship with Aaron Rodgers that I have with the guy that I thought was Aaron Rodgers.
So the way that
I mean, that is the greatest conversation I've ever had with my quarterback.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
For all of the debauchery that there was in Vegas, and Joe Buck said he would not go to Vegas because he was guaranteeing there would be some sort of incident or mess or something would happen, and he just wanted to avoid it at all costs. For whatever uncharacteristic behavior there was everywhere because people were drinking and drugging, I believe that Billy Gil had the single most uncharacteristic behavior to be found anywhere in Vegas over the course of the week. He was an aggressive gambler.
Oh, it was electric. Then.
He was an irresponsible gambler. Tony, what was electric about it? What do people need to know about Billy just letting it fly and being someone other than who he was? Because whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and we will not tell we will not tell our wife or anyone who loves us what we gambled in a certain situation.
So Billy took out $200, and he's like, you know what?
What are we just putting all my business here on Front Street?
I'm just allowing people to understand the brevity of the situation.
I will say this before Tony.
The brevity of the situation.
Before Tony goes and does whatever it is that he's about to do. I will say this.
Good use of brevity.
Thank you.
I had a busy week and I didn't get involved in the gambling. And then Friday came and we finished, our show at like noon. And then we did like meets and greets with the fans and such. And then we had like a mixer for a little bit. And then our flight wasn't until midnight. And I wanted to go because I didn't do much of it was my first time there. I didn't do much of seeing the town. I was basically just at the bottoms of halls and convention centers the entire time. So I'm like, I want to go out. I want to walk along the strip. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then I turned to everybody and they're like, nah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it by myself. So I guess I'm stuck here at the lovely Circa, which is lovely. Thank you for having us. It was a great place to be. But also, I wanted to kind of venture out, but no one wanted to go with me.
No one wanted to leave that open bar.
No one wanted to leave and go with me, yeah. So then I was like, well, I guess, I haven't gambled yet. I had a conversation with my wife. We budgeted what, I was allowed to spend.
Had to call home base.
Well, I did that before I left. Obviously, you check in like a good boy and make sure that, I'm not breaking any rules. So I did that. And then I was told a number, and then I did less than that number. But I said, okay, now's the time to do it. I don't want to leave Vegas, the only time I've ever been here, and say I didn't gamble. So I started gambling. And now we can see what kind of made-up story Tony has here, and then I can correct him when he's wrong.
So he took out the allotted budget, right, with him and his wife.
$200.
I took out $200. You already said it. You don't have to kind of clean it up.
What was the credit card fee?
Brevity.
I did a thing where, like, Mike Fuentes is like, I'll take it out, and then we don't have to pay double fees. I'm like, good, you can take it out, and then I don't have to pay the fee. Perfect.
So Billy walks over to the roulette table, starts he puts $100 down. He's like, you know what, I'm going to keep $100 in my back pocket just in case things don't go my way.
Just in case.
We'll see what it is. He takes out $100, quickly loses $100 on roulette. Within like 30 minutes, it's gone.
It didn't go well.
That's actually a long time.
30 minutes.
I wasn't.
That's a run.
It took like 20 minutes, but I was not playing the smartest way. I wasn't playing well, and I got terrible luck. Yeah. Terrible luck.
We had like 6 greens.
It was like 6 greens on the screen at one time. It was insane, and I was there. I'm like, it can't keep missing on red. Red can't keep missing until, as he said, at one point on the screen there were 6 greens, 0 or 00 kept coming up every time. It was insane.
This is why the rooms are so nice at Circa, by the way. Thank you, Billy.
Put it on the
really
poll,
nice
please, at Le Batard Show.
That bench.
The lighting.
The bench.
Is there a smartest way to bet at roulette? I don't believe there is, but at Le Batard Show.
Do you walk into these rooms, Dan, and think about all the places people have sex in the room? Yeah. Yeah, same
First thing I thought.
The bench. Yeah.
The bench, the couch, the bed, the chair, the floor, the ceiling, the wall.
Hallway.
Ceiling. The ceiling and the wall?
You don't know the shit I've seen, Dan.
Billy.
Yeah.
So, Dan, hold on. So we finish. Me and Billy start walking around. We start watching the boys play craps.
I lose my 100, and I'm like, I'm not taking this other 100 out of my pocket because I see exactly how this is going.
Mm-hmm.
These greens keep coming out. I can't do it. I'm not hitting any actual numbers.
Green. too.
I could just bet green.
You can't
too,
bet
but
green after it's come in 6
exactly
times.
right. That's what I thought when it came out one time. I'm like, okay, well, that's our green for the day. We've got our green allotment. And then like 2 things later came out again, and then again, and it just kept coming.
The next table over had a row of 9 reds in a row, and Billy was betting red the entire time.
I was so upset.
The next table would have made like $1,000.
I did numbers. I was doing reds. I figure I can't keep missing on red. I'll throw out numbers, but I can't keep missing on red. It's impossible. Except I did. So when my 100 was gone, I had the other 100 burning a hole in my pocket, and I said, Daddy needs a breather. I need to go out. I need to get some fresh air. At this point, I had already changed out of my outside clothes into my inside clothes because I didn't plan on going outside again. And it was freezing again out on Fremont Street. It was really cold. So we walked all the way to the Slotzilla at the end over there. Then walked all the way back. It was windy. There was some sort of concert going on, so we had to walk around this whole thing. It was really cold. By the time we got out there and came back, I regretted going outside even though I needed some fresh air. But we still had like 4 more hours to go before we were going to the airport. And that $100 was just burning a hole in my pocket, Dan. But I'm down 100 already. And I have 100 left in my pocket. And then I look at the screen and I'm like, man, this table, same exact table. Greg Cote was still there. Actually,
I was about to jump in while this is all going on. My dad drunk off his ass, killing it.
Yeah, same table.
Number after number.
I get up, Greg Cote gets down. Greg Cote wins a ton of money at that table.
My dad
just
does
there the whole time. He was there like an hour and a half straight playing.
My dad does this annoying thing with roulette. Whenever a number hits that he doesn't have, he goes, "Who picks that number? Who picks 20?" And he was drunk. I had to leave. I was like, you guys watch him. He's annoying me. Who picks 17?
We also had a situation at that table where Lewis and someone else came and they put down $15 or $20 or something on number 19 and then lost, and the very next roll, 19 came out.
It was red 9.
So they missed it by 1. So then I was there. I was like, what do I do with this $100 that's left? I can't go down $100, go back and tell my wife I lost this, and then still have this in my pocket. Right. So I'm like, let me just try to break even. So then we saw slap fighting was on, and I was like, can we gamble on slap fighting? Because this slap fighter is staying in our hotel. The slap fighters were in our hotel.
They were the ripped guys at the live show, right?
And women.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were there.
I didn't see the women. I just saw the ones Mike called out.
Well, no, so one of them.
Thank you for being inclusive, Billy.
I was getting coffee with one of the women that was a slap fighter, and she was there, and she was like giving all the rules and how it's like this whole thing, and it goes through the athletic commission now and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I was like hearing the slap fighting explanation that morning from one of the slap fighters, and then I look up, and she's on TV walking out to the slap fighting dojo stage, whatever they call it, right? And I'm like, Tony, I want to go bet on this slap fight. I don't know anything about it, but like, she's in our hotel. She was here this morning getting coffee. I'm gonna go bet on slap fighting. Yeah. Like, why not, right? When in Vegas. And then I walked over to like where the sports book is, and I'm like, I don't know how the hell this works. And then
we couldn't find the odds for the slap fighting.
We couldn't find the odds for the slap fighting. And I swear to goodness, Dan, she walks up and just goes, bang, rakata, right across the head and knocks the lady out before I could even place a bet. And I'm like, damn it, I should have placed a bet on that. And then there was a whole controversy because apparently it was an illegal hit of some kind and she got disqualified. But it was a one-slap knockout. Yeah. Just wait, boom, right across the head. Dude, barbaric sport. It's crazy.
But you didn't bet on this.
I didn't bet on it.
You tried to.
And thank God I didn't, because I was kicking myself in the tuchus, because I thought if I would have placed that bet, I would have probably won the money back because she was the underdog. But then I would have been really upset because there was a DQ, and we didn't even know because it was on mute. And again, we don't know the rules of slap fighting.
Let me stop you for
Walks
just a
off
second.
The stage.
Put it on the poll, Juju, at Batard Show. Is the color green the reason that all the casinos get built in Las Vegas? Please continue.
It feels like a 50-50 shot, but it's not, because there's 2 others that are green, so it's not 50-50.
46, 48, and then there's that 2%.
It is of the 38 numbers, 36 are either red or black.
And 00, come on, what is this? Yeah, 1990s baseball?
Who
what are we
picks
doing?
00?
Exactly.
Who picks
right.
35?
And by the way, I will say this. When I was at the roulette thing, there's like the one dealer, spinner, whatever it is that the person is called that's doing it. As soon as I got wiped out and I lost all my money, they immediately changed the person rolling the ball. Like that woman was there just to clean me out and take my $100 in chips.
Wait, so what did you do with the other $100?
It's still burning a hole in my pocket. Thank you for asking. So I couldn't bet on slap fighting because we couldn't figure it out, which thank God I didn't, because, again, there was a DQ, which is like why do we have rules in slap fighting? Is that really
They
necessary?
hit her in the jugular, which is what knocked her lights out, by the way.
Okay,
So
but I mean, if you're slap fighting, we really need rules. Anyways. So then,
no DQs, slap to the death. I mean, what are you saying here?
Slap for your life.
I'm just saying.
Slap for your life.
So anyways, so then Greg is still at the roulette table. I see
Hammered.
There's people playing craps, and it's like, this is way too complicated for me to learn. I've already lost $100. I'm not going to lose my last 100 on craps on a game that I couldn't understand. They tried to very quickly explain to me. I'm like, I'm not learning today. Like, this has been a long week. It's too late. I wanted to go see the fountains at the Venetian or wherever it is that they are, Bellagio.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I wanted to go take a tour of all the hotels that Danny Ocean robbed. No one wanted to come with me to do that.
I would have gone with you.
You were gone.
You were
left to
nowhere.
some party or something.
You were
You
getting
just
hammered
disappeared.
too. I
Yeah.
mean,
You were with the Kelseys.
That was another night.
That was third.
Yes.
When I showed up at the airport, I got through security. Well, I got to the airport, realized that as I was getting out of my Uber, I was like, oh my God, 4 people walked me to this Uber. I must be they must have thought I was really drunk. I'm not. And then I got to TSA and I was like, oh my God, I am so drunk. Are they going to let me on this plane? And then I got to our gate and there were so many drunk people at our gate. I was like, I'm
You're
good.
skipping over the diner. Drunk Jess and drunk Greg Cote talking to each other at the diner. Jeremy was there. Lucy was there. We were just...
You guys were at a diner together? I was looking for food.
It was
Everything
right.
closed.
It was before you guys
Hudson
walked
News.
up. As we were done, you guys all showed up at the
Trats.
gate.
Well, take a second
how about
mortgage
this,
out.
though? I mean, you guys tell me, because the flights out of Vegas, no matter when or how you're doing them, just a bad idea.
It was a rough crowd.
Just
at
a
the
bad
terminal.
idea. But making it worse, you tell me, because I couldn't believe when they put the tray of food in front of me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Beans?
We're not in first class, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what
we
this
didn't
is
get
talking
any
about.
food
I got
on the
pretzels.
flight.
Okay,
No food.
beans?
Whatever Scotty or whatever.
Do you
it's called.
want to be in first
No.
class when I tell you beans are what they were giving out?
Yes,
how
I
do you,
did.
heart
Yes,
no, how do
yes.
you imagine? How do you imagine that went after people have spent a week in Vegas? How do you imagine? Because that's how it went. I was in a tube filled with everyone's ass.
Flip the table over.
in my face.
I'm telling you, the best thing about being on that red eye out of Vegas is I didn't have to pee once. I was so dehydrated.
Right.
I did not pee a 5-hour flight. Neither did my drunk dad. He slept the whole time, didn't pee the entire flight because we were
Amazing.
all so dehydrated. So
That's
hey,
'cause I
little
drank
tip,
all his water.
Little tip out there: if you're stuck with a window seat and you don't want to go to the bathroom on a long flight out of Vegas, just don't drink water for about 24 hours beforehand.
I ate the beans.
So to close this loop, I go back to the table. It's hot. Greg's won a ton of money. I look at the screen. 8 out of 10 numbers are red. So I say, you know what? This $100 is going on red. I'm breaking even. Roll the ball. Black.
Be warned that once you pick up a refreshingly cold drink from McDonald's and people see just how refreshingly cold that drink from McDonald's is, you may create drink envy. Because there are drinks, then there are drinks from McDonald's.
For a morning brew that really creates a stir, get any size iced coffee, including caramel and French vanilla, for just 99 cents before 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.